to unleash his seed. It sounds weird.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and this is going to be my spoiler review for episode 2 of Marvel's What If, entitled What If T'Challa Became Star-Lord. This was the second episode of What If, and it's also served as kind of a tribute episode to Chadwick Boseman. As most people do know, Chadwick Boseman portrayed T'Challa in live action, and he's also portraying T'Challa in a couple episodes of What If. And this was the episode where T'Challa was actually Star-Lord. And it's very interesting how they set up the episode too. The way that the series has really been working is that Uatu the Watcher, but he is our narrator, our storyteller for these What If episodes, where he is scanning the multiverse and showing us glimpses into these new multiversal realities that are a result of the events of Loki. And this was one where instead of Peter Quill being abducted by Yondu, it is actually T'Challa abducted by the Ravengers, not necessarily by Yondu, hence the mix-up. One thing that the series has done really well so far is that each episode does kind of point out the moment or the catalyst for this branch reality. And we get to see the sort of alternate version of the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy, where T'Challa, who is Star-Lord, goes to retrieve the orb and is encountered by Korag, very similar to what happens in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But instead of not knowing who Star-Lord is, he is a huge fanboy and is hilarious. And he kind of portrays that throughout the entire episode. A lot of the changes in this episode are much more monumental than the changes we got in the Captain Carter episode, which I still like that episode as well. But this one definitely, there are much more greater ramifications for T'Challa taking the place of Peter Quill in this instance. T'Challa is a far different character than Peter Quill is. He is a lot more confident, and he is a born leader, and he has much more of a level-headedness about him than Peter Quill does. We see that throughout the results of him being in this role for 20 years, where he is turned the Ravengers into a group of good guys. They go around helping people. They're not just around doing shady stuff. Yondu's a better man with T'Challa as his surrogate son than Peter was, and they actually have a better relationship. The biggest shocker of the crew of Ravengers is that Thanos is actually a member of the Ravengers. And they make plenty of references throughout the episode of how he still had the plan of mass genocide, thinking that's the best way to balance the universe, but just a simple conversation with T'Challa changed all of that, and he's a good guy, which also affects his relationship with his daughter Nebula, portrayed by Karen Gillan in the episode. She is very much more of a femme fatale. She obviously has a lot more confidence to it. She still has a rocky relationship with her father because they still do have that past of abuse, but it's nowhere near the level of what it was, and it actually allows them to kind of be a family. This whole episode is really about family, about your found family and your real family, which T'Challa has to make a decision about if he wants to go back and see his family, because he was told by Yondu that Wakanda was destroyed, which was obviously a lie, more so just because I think Yondu was afraid of losing T'Challa. And that makes sense, because T'Challa clearly had a much more positive impact on the universe in this universe compared to what Peter Quill did in the main Marvel timeline. So the whole episode is really centered around a heist to steal something from the Collector, who is our big bad of the episode. Since Thanos was not the Mad Titan and not the big bad, the power vacuum was filled by the Collector. And there's a ton of Easter eggs in his collection, which is a lot bigger than we saw in the live action version of it. He has items from so many notable characters in the MCU. He has Hela's helmet, which allows him to use necroblades. In the background, we see Captain America's shield and Mjolnir hanging up as well. And he also has the severed arm of Korg, which is messed up. It's really messed up. There's a lot of positives for having T'Challa in the role of Star-Lord. Clearly, he's a much more benevolent figure throughout the universe. He's saved a lot of people on a lot of planets. He's reformed a lot of villains, and he's a much more confident and caring person. He's not as brash and reckless as Peter Quill was. And I think the episode does a really good job showing this alternate version of events to really kind of just show how bad of a character Peter Quill is. With all the good that T'Challa being in this role is, it does leave things open for a lot of negatives to come in as well. Case in point, at the end of the episode, Ego shows up and confronts Peter, who is just working in a Dairy Queen, which could lead to the events of Guardians Volume 2, where he needs Peter in order to enact his plan, in order to unleash his seed. It sounds weird. To unleash his seed all over the universe.
Phrasing. Shut up!
That's what she said?
Insert gross joke or that's what she said joke right there. Anyway. So there are potential negatives for the change of events, but that is a story for another time. I like the fact that they're using Uatu, the Watcher, as the narrator for these multiversal episodes. Jeffrey Wright has such a commanding voice, and he just sounds perfect for the role. I still believe that we're going to get some sort of crossover with other episodes, and we may explore other facets of these universes again with the ramifications of the changes, but that definitely seems like it's going to be a later in the season sort of thing. Maybe around episode 4 or 5 we'll get those sort of things. We've seen images of this version of T'Challa showing up alongside of a version of Gamora and Captain Carter, so we know we're going to get that sort of crossover, as well as with a different version of Doctor Strange too. But the episode is really good. I really like the episode. It is bittersweet because Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us, and he played such a pivotal role in bringing T'Challa to life. You feel in the episode that he's really enjoying what he's doing, this version of T'Challa that he never got to play, and to really like expand on the character and give a new facet of the character. And I believe we're going to see that in the other takes we're going to get later in the season, or even this version show back up. This version is so cool too, and is much more confident and much more entertaining to watch. I like the version of Nebula. She's much more of a badass in this one, and you can definitely tell there was some sort of past relationship between T'Challa and Nebula, which I would be fun to explore that at a later date. Obviously, it would probably be with a different actor if you're doing the animated version still. We got cameos from Drax as well, who's just a bartender, because obviously Thanos didn't kill his wife and daughter, so he's just bartending and still being as goofy as ever. It was definitely weird seeing Thanos as a hero, and the running gag of like, dude, the concept of genocide is a bad thing, and everyone is telling you that. It is one of the best through lines of the episode. I've said this before in the previous episode, but the art style in this series is fantastic. I love how just the backdrops of these scenes, you could frame it and put it on a wall. It's beautifully done. I like how they incorporate the Watcher looking over some of these scenes as well. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really cool. I like seeing these alternate takes. The Collector becoming this big bad and commanding the Black Order to do his bidding is very interesting to see, and how a person's character or their personality can have such an impact on so many different people. I mean, just look, the fact that you reform the Ravengers and Thanos in a single episode just because T'Challa was the one there who is much more level-headed and is quicker to diplomacy or rationalization than someone like Peter Quill, who is quicker to shoot or quicker to be more brash. It just shows how different things could have been if character personalities were different. The action's really cool too. I think T'Challa is a capable fighter, and again, it just boils down to their upbringing. I mean, we know Peter's upbringing came from, unfortunately, a broken home just with his mom, and him leaving Earth was more so running away from the pain and the trauma. T'Challa was more so looking to explore, and the opportunity just presented itself. He still came from a strong family background, and that it definitely shows the differences in their characters. And I think the episode does a really good job with that. Overall, I thought episode 2 was fantastic. It's bittersweet because, unfortunately Chadwick is no longer with us, but his performance comes through the screen perfectly. I love some of the cameos that we got in it. I love the different takes on like Nebula and Thanos and the Ravengers, and just the quality difference between how the universe is between the two. Different events are drastically different, unlike with the first episode where they were different but not drastically different. I think this one definitely shows the concept of what if being drastically different universes, and I'm looking forward very much to episode 3. So hopefully you will check out that review as well as this one. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the episode as well. You can follow me on all the social media listed at the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I do have a ton of videos on the channel that you're more than welcome to check out, and I really would appreciate that. And if you are new, subscribe to the channel for more. And until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.